What's up, guys? Welcome back to Mike It Yourself. In today's video, we're going to talk about a little bit of comfort on the Road Glide. Let's check it out. Damn it! If you've been following along with my videos, you know just recently I put the King Tour Pack on the back of my bike. And what I really like about it is it gives you a little bit of room to kind of slide it back and forth to make the ride or make it more comfortable for your passenger. Now, when we did this adjusting with my wife, we pushed it all the way back. She just kind of liked that angle a little bit more. Now, the downside to that is, and it looks a little, I think the gap looks worse here because I don't have the speakers. So that kind of closes this in if you have the speakers there. But what it does is it kind of puts you more towards the back side of this pillion pad, right? And this is the sock seat that comes with the Road Glide. And as you get further back, it gets narrow. So it just, you know, you start losing a little bit of comfort because you're now a little bit further back. We could fix that by bringing it forward, and that makes this, you know, a little bit wider. But I wanted to try out a new seat, something a little bit more comfortable. I don't have any problems with this seat as far as comfort for me as a rider, but I also want to make sure that the wife's comfortable as well, because happy wife, happy life, right? So let's talk about what we got. All right, guys. So what we got here is a seat from TCMT, and if you know me and you know TCMT, I buy a lot of their products just because they're right in my price range, and I gotta say I haven't been too, you know, I'm not disappointed with the quality of their products, so that's good on them. The only challenge I had was with the King Pack and that Mac rack, but outside of that, everything else has been pretty legit, man, so I'm happy. Now, I got another seat next to me, and I'll explain why here in a minute as soon as we get this wrapper off. Oh, looks like there's a, maybe it's because it, oh, this is the, for the back part, right? So when you screw it down to your fender. So we'll have to attach that. It actually looks like it just kind of slides in and clips. So we'll get a close up of that when I put it on. But for the moment, what I do want to show is this. And it's got the hole for your rider backrest, so that's good because I do have that for this bike. But this is a lot wider, so let's take a look at this, like compared to the stock, right? So that passenger pillion is much wider, and the rider area is wider. Now I took off the Mustang from my Road King just because it looks pretty close. I felt like it looked closer when they were separated, but now that they're next to each other, I could definitely tell a huge difference in the saddle for the rider on this one. Although the passenger areas, they look pretty damn similar. I mean, minus the stitching pattern, right? The area is pretty similar, and that has been super comfortable. So I want to take some measurements really quick just to kind of compare these two, and the price difference between these, of course, is significant. So I think this is probably like a $500 to $700 seat, and I paid about 75 bucks for this guy. So, you know, just want to put things in perspective. That thing weighs a ton, and I don't know if it's because of the padding and how old it is, and maybe it's just waterlogged or something, I don't know, or maybe there's just like a ton of butt sweat or something, who knows, right? And this thing is super light, but that's the same experience I had with my other seat for the Road King. So if you remember, I had this when I got it, and I took it off and went with a narrower seat because the bike stock set higher than my Road Glide, and I didn't, you know, I'm a short guy, right? So now that I have air suspension on it, I can adjust my ride height, and I'm able to put that seat back on, which I prefer. It is more comfortable. So from a width perspective, the Mustang is about 17 inches, and this one is about 16 and a half or so. Our passenger pillion is about 15 inches. 15 inches. And then depth wise, we'll just say kind of, again, I'm kind of ballparking these, it's not precise, but about 11.5 inches to the slit where the rider backrest would pop out. And then on this one's actually got some more depth to it. So this one is 13 inches. Now, again, keep in mind, two different bikes, right? Or at least I should say two different generations. They're both touring bikes on the touring frame. However, this is a 07 and this is a 17, so it would follow the 14 plus models. So a little bit of difference, but a huge difference compared to the stock seat. So let me get that off. We'll do a side-by-side with this one, and then we'll throw that new one on. So here's the side-by-side, and it's a big difference. From a rider saddles perspective, it's about 14.5, you know, so again 14.5 compared to the 16.5, almost 17 there in width. But the passenger part is the most difference. That is at best 9.5, maybe 10 inches wide at its widest area, compared to, like I said, about 15 to 15.5. So it's a good difference. That's going to give, you know, my wife a lot of area to be able to sit, which just makes it a little bit more comfortable. The real, you know, thing that comes down to is quality of the cushion over a long period of time. So that is something we're going to have to just get some miles under our belt to really fill out, and you know, we'll be able to, time's going to tell, right? So let's go ahead and get this thing prepped. Let's talk about that little tab in the back. So we're going to open up this little package here where it comes with that tab, and then it looks like it's got a little cloth doodad there, just to, you know, put underneath your deal to protect your fender from this rubbing on it. That's all it is. It's nice, it's felt, and it looks like leather on top. So we'll keep that with our seat screw deal. So it's got a angle to it, so I'm assuming that we'll want that with the angle down. I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to take a look at the other one. And the other one's got the same thing. So it's just like that. So as you put this on, you want the angle or it kind of lifting up towards you. And it looks like, yeah, all we have to do is kind of push this in here. There's a little bit of a track here. And you just kind of push your tab down. I mean, need to get a screwdriver here to help do this here, just so my fat hands ain't in the way. So we got that first one. Oop. Push that through, and then you're going to hit your next tab. So I'm assuming this is probably a little adjustable, and that might be because it fits multiple models. I don't know for sure. We'll find out, I guess, once we get it on. Getting it past that second one, man, it's a little tougher, but it's getting there. Alright, so we'll do a quick test fit. That guy's a little bigger. I'm just going to get a little pick in there to kind of pull it back a little bit just so it sits in that hole properly. But yeah, not a big deal. I'm sure if I kept wiggling this thing around enough, it'd probably just do it, but I'm just going to use a pick. It'll be faster. And then we'll put it on the bike, and let's see how this thing lines up. Alright, so I've got it on. It actually fit pretty good. It was a little bit stiffer just because it's brand new compared to the one that's already like 10 years old. But so I just had to kind of angle it in, scoop it up like normal, and then it definitely is closer. It's more full here. So you have to kind of reach in between here to get that thumb screw in there. But it's on, and it looks pretty decent. So now let's, I gotta sit on it and see how it feels. All right, guys, so, you know, it definitely feels different. And it's hard to tell if it's just because it's new or what, to be honest. So I don't want to rate it or anything right now. And the whole point of this is, like I said, I got to get some miles under it. But initially, I definitely feel that width for me as a rider, and compared to what it was like with the stock seat. And something I just happened to catch as I was kind of cleaning things up a little bit is the weight difference between this seat and the stock seat is almost spot on. They feel about the same amount. So I guess quality wise, if you're looking again on the density of the foam, if I'm basing it just on weight, so this is not tearing the seat apart and checking the foam itself, but based on weight, it's pretty comparable. So we'll see. But I mean, ultimately it feels all right. Not too bad. It definitely needs to be broken in, that's for sure. And that might be uncomfortable for a little bit. And that's something that you hear regularly with seats is you got to break them in before you really get a good feel. Because this is wider, you know, of course, if you're shorter, then it's going to make your reach a little bit harder. But in the case of the Road Glide, I've kind of lucked out because it sits lower than my Road King did. So I don't have that same problem, or at least it doesn't feel that way right now. I'm able to flat foot this bike. So that's good, right? So we'll see how it goes. Big old me sitting on the back seat, and you know, it's comfy, man. I got plenty of real estate there. Seat comparison, it feels pretty good. It feels better as far as, like I said, real estate wise than the stock. So now it's going to come down to comfort on the trip. All right, guys. Well, that's going to be a wrap for today's video. Again, we're gonna give it some time, see how it feels. Hopefully I come back with some good feedback. And yeah, maybe it'll be a good, you know, nice budget friendly seat. Maybe it doesn't last as long as a Mustang or a Salomon or something like that. But for the price point, if you had to replace it, you know, once every 3 years or whatever, that's not too bad. I don't know. I don't even know. Do seats have like an expiration? Do they typically wear out in a certain period? I don't know. If you know, throw it in the comments below. If you've already had this seat for a while and you had a different experience or whatever, let us know what your experience has been. Curious. I'm about to find out, but if we can get a little bit of insight, post it below. Appreciate that. So until my next video, I hope to see you in the wind.